turn to the race for the White House now. A crucial week in Your Voice, Your Vote. The president and his party will take the stage at the Democratic National Convention in Charlotte to make his case. And the big question, are Americans better off now than 4 years ago? The vice president gave his answer at a Labor Day rally in Detroit.
You want to know whether we're better off? I got a little bumper sticker for you. Osama bin Laden is dead and General Motors is alive.
And for the rebuttal, we are now joined live by the Republicans' VP nominee, Paul Ryan. Congressman, thanks for joining us this morning. Let's preview that debate with Vice President Biden. When he says Osama bin Laden is dead, General Motors is alive, you say?
Well, General Motors isn't alive in my hometown. The president came to Janesville after the plant shut down, or before the plant shut down, and said that he'd lead an effort to retool the plant. After the plant was shut down, he said he'd lead an effort to retool the plant to get people back to work. They're still not back to work. I'd really ask the 23 million people, George, who are struggling to find work in America today if we're better off than we were 4 years ago. I'd look at the facts that we've had unemployment above 8% for 42 months, despite the president's claims that the stimulus would provide the contrary. We're not better off than we were 4 years ago. Look at all the statistics. And I think that's why we're going to be offering big solutions in a big year to get people back to work, to get this debt crisis under control, to get higher take-home pay, to create more jobs. We're going to be offering an agenda of economic growth, of opportunity, as a stark contrast to where we are right now.
And the Democrats, as you know, are already taking aim at those solutions. They argue that the Romney-Ryan tax plan and spending and budget plan is going to crush the middle class, including a $2,000 tax increase on the middle class.
Not true. What we're saying is we're going to reduce people's tax rates by 20%, and we'll do it by closing loopholes. Here's the point, George. We believe that there's a bipartisan consensus to be had through this kind of tax reform. Democrats, like the Simpson-Bowles Democrats, agree with us that we should be lowering tax rates and broadening the base by plugging loopholes so that people get to keep more of their own money, so that families and small businesses can have a fair, simple, and competitive tax system. But as you know, Congressman, the Tax Policy Institute and others have looked at your plan to close loopholes. They say you can't cut taxes in the way you say and raise as much money simply by going after loopholes. They've looked at every single one, and you just don't get there. They did not actually analyze the Romney plan. And what other groups have shown is you can do this. Look, George, economic growth is the key to this. And one of the keys to economic growth is tax reform. And when we keep taxing our families and successful small businesses at much higher tax rates than our foreign competitors tax theirs, we make our businesses less competitive. Don't forget the fact, George, that 8 out of 10 businesses file their taxes as individuals. President Obama wants their tax rate to go above 40%. Other countries are lowering their tax rates on their businesses. President Obama is promising a higher tax rate. And more to the point, he uses this money for more spending. We don't think we should be taxing small businesses and families more to spend the money in Washington. It hasn't worked. It won't work. And we think that we have better solutions.
Let's take a look at Medicare. The Democrats say you're being dishonest when you charge them with raiding Medicare to pay for President Obama's health care plan. And you target especially those $716 billion in savings in the president's plan. Isn't it difficult for you to make that charge, given the fact that the budget you wrote, passed twice from the House, included those exact same savings?
The budget we wrote is based upon current law, which is Obamacare. Don't forget the fact that we've already voted and we've already proposed to repeal Obamacare, every part of Obamacare, including this rate of $716 billion from Medicare to pay for Obamacare. They can't have it both ways, George. You can't spend the same dollar twice. You can't say that Obamacare is a cost saver and that we're extending the life of Medicare, one or the other. And the point is, and this has been pretty well verified and established, if you're taking $716 billion from Medicare to finance Obamacare, that really is a raid of Medicare for Obamacare. We think that's wrong. Our plan to save Medicare does not affect or change the benefits for anybody who is in or near retirement. But in order to keep that promise, you need to reform my generation, because Medicare is going bankrupt for my generation. And the kinds of reforms we're proposing have a rich tradition of bipartisan support. They came from the Clinton Commission in the late 1990s. I worked with a Democrat in Congress to put these ideas out there. And so we think that there's a better way to save Medicare for future seniors while we can keep it intact for current seniors. And that means stop the raid of the Medicare program to finance Obamacare.
Congressman Ryan, thanks very much for your time this morning.
Thank you, George. Take care.